Good Shabbos from Mali Ephraim in the Jordan Valley. I want to share a teaching today from the Kedushas Levi on this week's parsha, behaaloscha. In this week's parsha, we learn about the process Aaron HaKohen underwent in consecrating the Leviim to holy service. Explaining the Leviim's special role in the sacred avoda, the verse states, Ki nisunim heimali, forgiven, given are they to me. It also is translated by the Kedushas Levi that, for they are wholly given over to me from among the children of Israel. The question is, why is nisunim repeated? Why is it said nisunim, nisunim? So in order to understand this, to understand what it means to be wholly given, as the Kedushas Levi explains, he uses an analogy. And he explains that when one wants to give a present to a low government official, to incur favor with him, but it's important that the actual gift that's given, because this lowly minister isn't a wealthy man, and any gift that they receive is something that's useful to them. However, if one wants to give a present to an important minister, a great noble, the present itself is not what is important, because for a person of such high stature, being so much loftier than the gift that is presented to him, the gift is completely immaterial. What is important, however, is the generous spirit of the one who gave the present. Thus, the minister appreciates the desire of the person who gave the present, that the person desires to present him with a gift, not the gift itself. Same is true with God when he inducted the Leviim into his service. What profit did God gain through this? Do not all the people of the earth tremble before him, and all the heavenly angels stand before him in fear and in trepidation, eager to do the will of their Maker, and to fulfill the desire of he who formed them? Thus, it is not the actual service, but the desire and initiative of the person to draw close to him, to serve him, that God cherishes. This is the underlying meaning of the phrase, they are wholly given over to me. In fact, what they give to God is the fact that they think to draw close to him and to devote themselves to his service. This is considered by God as a gift. It is not the present that they give, but their desire to give the present that is cherished by God. So what the Kedushas Levi is saying, the main satisfaction that God derives from us when we do mitzvahs is not the actual act itself, but it's our desire to please God. It's our desire to actually comply with the commandment that we are given. It's not the actual act itself, but it's the underlying intention behind it. And this helps explain a Mishnah that says, be as careful in the performance of an easy mitzvah as you are in performing a difficult one, as you do not know the reward for the mitzvahs. Because what the Kedushas Levi is saying, it really doesn't matter if it's an easy mitzvah or a hard mitzvah. It's really our intent that's behind it. It's whether or not we are doing it in order to please God, to fulfill a mitzvah, and to draw close to him. So that's the deeper significance of it. Be as careful in the performance of an easy mitzvah as you are in performing a difficult one, as you do not know the reward for the mitzvahs. Since reward is given for our observance of his mitzvahs, and since the reward is given fulfilling God's command, whatever it may be, the reward is equal in all cases. It is impossible, therefore, to differentiate between an easy mitzvah and a more difficult one. This is also the intent of the Torah, the Kedushas Levi says, for it says, afterward the Levi must approach, and you must purify them and have Aaron lift them as a wave service. Then it continues and says, they are wholly given over to me. Based on what we've discussed before, namely that what is precious to God is the generous spirit motivating the contribution, not the gift itself, it follows that a person's desire must evince great holiness and purity. For it is not the present itself that gives satisfaction to God, but the desire prompting the given. Thus the desire must be pure and holy. This then is the underlying intent of the verse, you must purify them and lift them as a wave service. The Torah is explaining why such purity and holiness is necessary in giving the Leviim to God. It is because they are wholly given over to me. The double form of the verb given, given implies that what is given is their given. Giving. Let me say that again. What it implies is that what is given is their giving. As explained above, in the eyes of God, what is cherished is not the gift, but the giving itself. Therefore, a person must give the holiest and purest of intentions, for what is principally cherished by God is the act of giving itself, rather than gift per se, and for that reason, the giving must be done with great purity and intention. So what do we learn? In order to yearn we learn that though every mitzvah we perform causes tremendous blessings to flow upon creation, Hashem takes pride not in the action of the mitzvah itself, but rather in the will and desire that underlines it. The main thing is the desire. So may we all be blessed to recognize this, that when we do mitzvahs, that we're trying to draw closer to Hashem, it's our intention that's important. It's our desire to give pleasure to Hashem by fulfilling His mitzvahs that's important. It's not the actual act itself. So when we go into Shabbos and fulfill the mitzvah of resting and observing the Shabbos, may we do that with the understanding that we're giving great pleasure to Hashem through our desire to draw closer to Him during Shabbos by fulfilling the mitzvah of observing the Shabbos. Good Shabbos.